Okay, so the next thing that we need to plan in, okay, is the center darts. So the dart in the center front, okay, and the dart closest towards the center back. So we use that by, okay, we'll explain it in the front first and then we'll repeat for the back. So we're going to measure along from the center front waist along the new angled waistline. 1/12 our scale. So if you remember, that measurement is 8.4. So again, what we're doing here is we're squaring. Okay, so we're following the angle of the waistline and we're squaring down off the waistline. I'm going to go longer than I need, and then I'm going to mark in from the waistline 8 centimeters and mark a point. You can always rub that out. Obviously I can't because I've got a texter, but you'll be able to. It's better to go longer than to just finish at the point. Okay, we're going to mark the same position but in the back. So again, we're going to come in 8.4 centimeters along the angled waistline. Okay, I'm going to mark that 8.4 and squaring off that on that angle. Okay, now the length in the back is going to be 14 centimeters. So you remember, you want to go a little bit longer. Mark the 14 with a balance mark. Okay, now to establish the 2 remaining side darts, okay, if you remember back to your block, what we do is we find the halfway point between the first dart position and the side seam position. Okay, you need to be very, very accurate here. So even if it's sort of 0.5 millimeter, again, you'll be able to be more accurate because you've got your technical pencil. A little bit longer, mark the 8. Okay, and square. And then we're going to repeat for the back, finding the halfway point between the center, the dart closest to the center back, and the side seam. Then squaring off that angled line. Remember, you want to go a little bit longer and then mark the 14 centimeters. So now we're ready to do the more subtle shaping. So putting in the darts and the curve over the side. Okay, so the next part we're going to do is we're going to soften the shaping over the side. If we constructed it like this, you can see there'd be a point. So essentially you just want a very soft curve over the side there. Okay, so you just use your ruler to essentially angle. So you want something that's going to, now you notice I've got the heavier sort of curve scooped out down below, okay, and we've got the flatter edge of the ruler sort of facing up. So you probably want to be at about halfway down your line. You probably want to be scooping out about 0.5 centimeter, so not very much. Okay, probably the most common mistake that everyone makes is they draft that hip curve too bulgy. Now what I like to do is actually just mark on my ruler where I intersected at that balance mark, and then you just flip your ruler over, okay, so that you know that that's now going to be identical. Oops. They may look a little bit different, but that's probably more to do with my marker than anything else. Again, your pencil mark will be a lot clearer. Okay, so we're going to move on to the front darts. So if you remember, so the way we got the measurement for the front darts was half of the side shaping, the full side shaping being 6. Okay, so that leaves us with 3. So we take that 3 centimeters and we have 2 darts. So we divide the 3 into 2, giving us 1.5 and 1.5. Okay, so each 1.5 is then distributed evenly over the center line. So that means we're going to measure out 0.75 each side of that centre line. Okay, and then angle back to that dart point. Okay, so we're going to the balance mark, not to the bottom of your line. Okay, we're going to repeat for the other dart. Okay, so measuring out 0.75, 0.75 either side of the centre line, giving us a total of 1.5 for each dart, and then a total of 3, okay, when you join each dart together. Okay, so that's the front piece complete now. Now we're going to move on to the back. Now, the back shaping, okay, is a total of 4 centimetres. So again, we're taking the 4 and we're dividing it into 2. Okay, so 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So what that means is we're going to measure out from the centre line 1 centimetre each side. Okay, so we're distributing that 2 centimetres evenly. Okay, angling back to the dart point. Okay, we're going to repeat for the next dart. So again, measuring out from the centre line evenly 1 centimetre either side, giving us a total of 2. Okay, and forming the other side. So this is the completed draft. So the last thing that we need to add, okay, is our grain lines. Now, depending on what you're doing with your prototype, the grain line might change. However, okay, if we were just drafting the block, the grain line in the front piece runs parallel to our centre front, okay, and in the back, again, parallel to the centre back. I'm just going to put my ruler that way. Remember, nice long grain lines. Okay, so just to confirm what you should be tracing off now. Okay, so we've got our centre front, waistline, dart, waistline, second dart, waistline, the front side seam or the hip shaping, okay, side seam, hemline. Okay, I'll just trace it again. Okay, and with the back we have our centre back, waistline, first dart, waistline, second dart, waistline, side hip curve, side seam, hemline. Okay? Now, the important thing to note is that when we create our final pattern pieces, okay, we must remember to prove our dart values. Okay, so remember that you must fold them and cut them out in order to make this shape not end up with a slight angle, okay, but a nice soft curve along the waistline. So that completes the basic skirt block draft.